You need to have out a pen, a color pencils, homework, and a red checking pen. And actually, for those of you watching this on Google Classroom, you don't need the red checking pen or the homework. You'll turn that in when you come back to school. All right, so really quickly, so we don't need to go through that because I don't really want you to do that on your own. Let's go ahead and let's jump into the guided project. You're not going to get very far in the project today because you're going to be setting it up, doing a lot of setup, and I'm going to be going over my expectations for this project so that it's done accurately. So these reminders are really my expectations. Number one, for all lead lines, and I'll show you what those look like in just a minute, for all lead lines, you need to use a ruler. And I'm going to check. I'm going to check to see that they're straight. The point in all of these requirements is this. It's not because I'm trying to say, oh, let's see how many rules we can give the kids and let's see if we can trip them up. That's not my point. I always have a reason behind the things that I do. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I'm trying to teach you how to turn out a polished diagram assignment. So when you're older and when you're also doing other things like in 8th grade and then doing other ones in 10th grade and even in college, you'll know the proper way to do a diagram and you can turn out really nice looking things. The time for just kind of slapping together something and coloring it and say, okay, I'm done, is really over. In 7th grade, you're really going to learn how to turn out things that look really clean and they look really good quality. Okay. All right, so using a ruler for those lead lines. Next, all projects should always be in a final medium. So you need to label everything in ink. And so I give you a choice of either blue or black ink. You never want to do anything in red ink. That's just not good, and it's against the requirements. All right. So all of the labels, like the vocabulary, and practically everything. I don't think there's anything you're going to use pencil on in this project. Number 3, you're going to write all vocabulary and all titles in what we call block print. Okay, block print. So block print is where you're writing in all caps. The way I have it written right here. So you see I have it written block print in all caps or all caps in all caps. So it's almost like you have your caps lock on if you were typing, except for your caps lock is on when you're writing. Okay. The 4th requirement is that you need to color solidly. I don't want any white gaps in your coloring, and I'll show you all of these examples in just a minute. I want this to look really nice and clean, and white gaps in your coloring looks really bad. Next, I want you to write small to fit everything in. And then again, when you see my project, the sample that I'm going to show you, you'll see why you have to write small. All right, so add this data right here on the back in the center of your project. So if you folded it on the folds, these would be the fold lines right here. And in the very, very center on the back, you need to put your first and last name, your period, and the date. Now, obviously, this one right here is an old date because this was done a while ago. So put the current date, and I had everyone at school put 10/22/21. Go ahead and pause the video right now and go ahead and add that to your project. Really quick though, let me have you notice the size that this takes up. Okay, the size of this. It's not across the whole thing and it's not down into the bottom. It's literally at the top, and try to center it. All right, pause the video now. All right, now still looking on the back, even though I've gotten rid of the things on the sides, still on the back, and here is your name where you have that. I'm going to have you down at the bottom where this arrow is, and I don't want you to draw the square in, but all down in here, you're going to write our first definition. And it's a definition that applies to all of these things that we're going to be talking about in this project. This definition is called organelles. It's called organelles. Organelles literally means little organs. and the little organs that are the structures that perform these jobs for the cell. Okay, so in this cell, we'll come back, we'll go ahead and pause this and write this down, and then we'll go on, and then you can see, I'll elaborate on that in just a minute. Just as an aside, you don't have to write your definitions in all caps, but you do have to write the words, like organelle. All right, really quick, we'll add these titles before I go back and elaborate. If you look on the inside, interior means inside, and the center, you're going to write the word both. On the left-hand side of your project, you're going to write the words plant only. Then on the right-hand side, you're going to write animal only. And these are going to be for definitions, and in each of these will be what applies to either both animal cell and plant cell, or just one or the other. So go ahead and pause the video, write these titles, and make sure they're in all caps. All right, this is what I was talking to you about. This is my sample project that I did. I actually did it quite a few years ago. But as you can see, my lead lines are really, really straight. They were done with a ruler. My words are in all caps. Oh, sorry about that. That highlighter just kind of goes nuts sometimes. So my words are all in all caps. And notice my coloring, how I did this with color pencils, and that's what you need to use. My coloring, there's no white gaps. It's nice and clean. It doesn't have to be dark to be clean, because this is light and so is this, and so is the orange, but you need to make sure that you fill in all the space. Now, a couple of things to note. Notice that the lead lines are in ink. However, the words are underlined in the color that it's colored. So if you look right down here at this cytoskeleton, okay, I colored the cytoskeleton blue, and then I underlined the word cytoskeleton blue. Now, here's a fun thing. You get to pick any color you want. You can color these any color you want, just as long as you make sure that you underline the word, and then I'll show you something else in just a minute as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this project, and make sure you have your color pencils, your straight edge or your ruler, and your blue or black ink. If you don't have those things, pause the video right now and go ahead and get them. All right, the very first thing we're going to color and label is called cytoplasm. And by the way, spelling does count, because I give you the correct spellings of everything. Cytoplasm is this stuff that's all in this background. Some people would say it's background, but it's really not. It's a jelly-like substance. It's all of this light blue stuff. It's a jelly-like substance that kind of sits and holds all of these organelles. Now, remember I told you that the definition organelle had to do with everything that was in the cell. Well, that's the case. This is an organelle. This. All of these are organelles, okay? And these organelles that do these jobs for the cell sit in this jelly-like substance called cytoplasm. Go ahead and pause the video right now. Choose a color that you want to color your cytoplasm in, and go ahead and label it and underline it in that color. All right, so here is a blank project that looks just like yours. Notice that this side is the animal cell. This side is the plant cell. They both have cytoplasm, so they need to be colored the same color. So whatever you color here, you need to color the same color all through here. You only need to label it one time though, and I think right here has the most amount of room for it. But you're welcome to put it anywhere on this whole entire front that you would like. All right, now we're going to add the definition of cytoplasm into your definition section. So you open your project up, and in the center where it says both, you're going to add the word cytoplasm and the definition. Remember, the word is in all caps. The definition can be regular writing, and you need to underline that word in the same color that you colored it on the front. Okay, so here is your definition. Cytoplasm, the gel-like substance within the cell. It's about 70 to 90% water, and it's usually colorless. And remember, it's where the organelles just kind of sit and hang out. It's like a cushioning substance for them. Pause the video and write this down. All right, that's going to be the end of the first day. So go ahead and put your project away. And if you're absent again tomorrow, then you'll pull up the next slideshow or next video to keep going with us.